And the topic tonight is the dangers of your youth. And what I don't want to do tonight is give you a 3-step program to overcoming the dangers of your youth. I don't want to say here's the 5 most dangerous things that you can come across. It's don't eat before you go swimming, or don't cross your eyes because they might stay that way, or don't take a nap on the railroad tracks with your headphones on. I don't want to just dive into specifics and say, well, here's how you don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. That's not where we want to go with this. But what I want to talk about tonight is this idea of us as a body of believers and as individuals moving together towards maturity. And what does that look like for us as a group of young people? What does it look like for us to strive towards maturity and to move towards maturity and not only in our personal lives, not only in our jobs and in our professions and all those different things, but what does it mean for us to spiritually move towards maturity? And so I want to start with just this passage, and like we've been talking about, these are Paul's dying wishes. Paul is going to be put to death. He knows it, and so he's writing to Timothy, who's his son in the faith, who he's raised up, who he's loved, and he's saying, these are the things that I want you to watch out for. And Timothy is a younger man, and so he talks to Timothy in 2 Timothy 2:22 about the dangers of his youth. And it starts off with this. It says, flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness. And right off the bat, we see this simple choice that we all face every single day, is that there are dangers. We all know what they are. I don't need to make a list of the dangers that we face every day, but there's dangers that we face every day. There's temptation, there's struggles at every corner, there's all kinds of things that Satan, the enemy, wants to ensnare us with. He wants to catch us, and he wants to catch us while we're young. And it's all over the place. But it says, instead of that, pursue righteousness. And so there's something better that you can choose. And right off from the bat, Paul's saying, hey, Timothy, there's something better for you to choose than the dangers of your youth. Pursue righteousness, pursue faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Pursue a pure heart. And then he says this, don't have anything to do with the foolish and stupid arguments, because you know they produce quarrels, and the Lord's servants must not quarrel. I'm becoming an expert in stupid arguments and quarrels because I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old son. And so every single moment that I'm at home, there's some sort of battle about something completely insignificant. Today, I went home to grab dinner before I came over here, and the battle was over Legos. And my youngest son had a Speed Racer Lego, and he had Speed Racer's helmet, and my older son wanted to put Speed Racer's helmet on Spider-Man because he thought it would be cool to see what that helmet looked like on Spider-Man, which really is a good thought. And so the battle ensued, and my oldest tried to take away the helmet, and the youngest threw an elbow, and the oldest threw a punch, and the youngest ran, and the Legos got broken, and there was shouting and screaming, and that's my house. And there's just constant quarreling over silly things, and when you're 4 and when you're 7, it's okay to fight over Legos. What else do you have to do? I mean, there's only so many Capri Suns to drink, and so it's okay. But as we move towards maturity and as we grow up, let's just be honest that when we're young, we have this tendency to get involved in arguments over stupid things, don't we? And we speak when we shouldn't speak. We don't speak when we should speak. We're not really sure when we should jump into this, and we think we know a lot more than what we really do know. I hate to break that to most of you, but you think you know, got all this stuff figured out, and you really don't, and so there's all these quarrels and all these arguments and all these things happening. And Paul says to Timothy, just stay out of the stupid arguments. He really uses the word stupid. He just says stay out of them. Just stay away from them. Because what begins to happen is divisiveness just tears a hole in community. I mean, it could happen in this room. It happens in churches all over the place where churches get involved in silly arguments and petty discussions over the style of music or over who you're sitting in my seat or the pastor's not wearing a tie or whatever it is. There's all these different arguments that have the potential to destroy churches, destroy communities of faith, and destroy relationships. Like, ladies, you know this because you were in junior high, and I really do think a junior high girl is the meanest of all animals. Is more vicious than a lion. Like, a junior high girl will just tell you what's up all the time. All the time. I was a junior high youth pastor, and like I'd teach, and then the junior high girl would come up to me like, man, looks like you're gaining a lot of weight, you know? It was always something. I don't like your hair. And there's always something, and we can just get involved in these silly little things, and Paul says, just stay away from that stuff. Verse 24 says, and the Lord's servant must not quarrel. Instead, he must be kind to everyone, able to teach, and not resentful. And there's this point that we reach in maturity where we have the wisdom to teach. Where we've moved from information to knowledge to wisdom, and we have the wisdom to communicate and the wisdom to teach and the wisdom to kind of pour into some people that are coming behind us. But sometimes our temptation in that is to do that out of spite, or to do that to say, well, I'm going to show them, or I'm going to teach them, or I'm going to pull out the Word of God, and I'm going to nail them over the head with all these verses that I know. And it says, no, be able to teach them, but don't be resentful of them. Verse 25 says, those who oppose him, he must gently instruct. And I see so many young people who just don't have the ability to gently instruct yet. It just always comes out harsher than you intended to. And we've got to learn to shepherd people. We've got to learn to want the best for people. And here's my question for you. When you're sharing, when you're teaching, when you're communicating with somebody, for those of you who are D group leaders or you work with the junior high ministry or the children's ministry, like are you communicating to them out of a great love for them? Or are you communicating with them to prove to them some kind of point?